Welcome back to yet another episode of Streethouse, and as usual, I am your host, Lucie Jr. And in today's episode, we've got an interesting guest. He's a veteran radio personality. We're also looking at him being a DJ, so find out who our guest for Who Is actually is. Kicking off the show with music here coming in from Driemo, and this one is called Handede.
Say now.
Nyirenda made it.
Driemo. Yemo yankalenga iwe sada pona daiga zonse ba handede. Yemo yankalenga iwe sada pala daiga zonse ba handede. Amajidira kumbali goma muntima maziwa ndiwe bulede simawa pwete kakoma sanga nene amasekela kumbali goma muntima maziwa ndiwe shasha simawa wawa begoma sanga nene Sanga kupose za wonza bweka alibe confidence amafuna no se mpale kizi kuvuta uzingolila ati no se mufanane alibe confidence amafuna no se mpale kizi kuvuta uzingolila ati no se mufanane
What a pleasure to have you on Streethouse.
Well, I guess the pleasure is all mine.
It's about time.
You can say that again.
So
you
glad
can say that again.
to have you here so that we can unpack pretty much everything about you. So tell us who Ephraim Nyirenda is. Just tell us about how you grew up.
Briefly?
Not briefly.
Not briefly?
Not too briefly.
To make a long story long? Is that the way it's supposed
we'll see
to
how
be?
it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Grew up in Zimbabwe in a small town called Shurubi.
Okay.
In a family of 8, 3 sets of twins.
Are you part of it?
Yes.
Are you a twin?
Unfortunately, my sister passed away.
Oh, I'm so
Yes.
sorry.
But otherwise, mom and dad. Dad is from Malawi. Mom is half Zimbabwean. No, mom is Zimbabwean and is half Malawian. Yeah.
So they met in Zim then?
Yes, they met in Zim.
All right. So how was it like growing up in Zim? Were you always surrounded by radio? How was it like for you to actually end up doing radio and DJing?
Trust me, radio has been like my soundtrack.
Okay.
It's been my soundtrack. You're this kid who is timid, primary school. You always have these bullies around.
Look at you, a bully?
Yeah,
Bullies? They
always.
used to mess with you.
Trust me,
I think, guys, everybody can see how Ephraim looks.
Trust me.
He should be the bully.
The one that survived the bullying, it was all because of radio. You go back home, there's a DJ out there, is playing music on radio, and you actually get fascinated listening to radio, and you realize that radio takes away all the mess that's surrounding you.
Like your happy place.
Yes, it's the sanctuary. It's where you feel you're at home, you're at peace. Because that DJ out there is actually making your life much better. But the moment you step on out of the house, there's always bullies at school. Yes. I survived those bullies because of radio. And at the same time, I had a cousin, William, always saving us from all the other bullies. But the main thing that really made me feel at peace was radio. Radio.
All right. So who would you say you recall listening to when you were in Zim?
Oh, man. You don't want to go there. 1989. We used to listening to radio 2, which was Ashona based.
That's in Zim.
That's in Zim.
Okay.
Now, all of a sudden, you're playing around with that switch mode. Then, there's an English-speaking person there. And who goes on radio? You hear yowzo, yowzo, yowzo. There's the hitman.
Oh.
I'm like, who the hell is this? And all of a sudden, everything explodes. Hitman, Saturday afternoon. It was around 4 p.m. I started listening to that session. I'm like, yes, I think this is where I'm supposed to be.
How often was that airing?
It was always airing on Saturdays,
Okay.
once a week. His session was airing on Saturdays. The first time I caught it, it was on a Saturday.
Okay.
So the moment I listened to that one, I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Not my mom's or my dad's sessions. This is what I need. So I'm actually sold to that. That's the hitman, Hosea Singende. I'm listening to that guy. So fast forward a day or two, I start looking for that Radio 3 FM. And guess who I get there? It's Peter Johns, the radio driver. Drive time. Because I've just come from school. I'm listening to that guy. I'm like, damn, this is the world. Not what my parents were telling me. But this is the world. Now, this is some kid who is from the ghetto. And all Shona speaking and Devele speaking. And all of a sudden, you have a little bit of what you learned from primary school. Right? I think it was in grade 3, grade 4, somewhere there.
Okay.
This is what I'm getting at that time. And I say, okay, this is what I need. Maybe I can learn proper English. Peter Johns, I listened to that. So there is those guys. So I start listening the whole day, all the way. Then from nowhere, there's another guy called George Munetsi. I'm like, you know what? I think I need to be these guys. I need to be. So all of a sudden, within a short space of time, probably maybe within a week's time, I've already found my mentors. They don't know it, but they're already my mentors. George Munetsi, Peter Johns, and the Hitman. Those 3 guys, for me, they're the best ever. Anybody can say whatever they want about them. Negative, positive, I don't care. But for me, those were my first teachers, and they remain. Fast forward to 10 years. 10 years later, 89, 90, 12 years later, guess who I met? The Hitman.
All right, take me back to, did anyone actually get to notice, like your family, did they actually get to notice that this guy is addicted to listening to the radio and these type of shows?
Everybody listened. Everybody. In fact, my dad used to love vinyls. He used to have some soul records, and he used to have some South African music. They used to call it. Okay, I just forgot. But then they used to have the Soul Brothers. Back then, Amaswazem Velo. They had Lucky Dube was just starting. You know, Lucky Dube, most of you know him as a reggae artist. But that guy actually started with Zulu music. Believe you me, he started with Zulu music. I know all that. His first album was done in Zulu. All of it. I don't know how many tracks, but we had it. We used to have Rebecca Malope. Has as well was also done in Zulu before she went to gospel. Yes. We used to have all those artists. Used to listen to those. Then I can say, in the long run, my dad actually noticed my love for music, because every time he bought a record, he would find me around peeping just to be close to him.
Yeah.
Every time he would play his records on a Sunday afternoon, I was always close to him.
Yeah.
Whether the music was boring, I couldn't understand it, but I was always there. So the music in me actually came to because of that small radio that he had. And then it grew from there. Yes.
All right. So how did you actually find yourself falling into radio now? Because, okay, fast forward, you're all grown up. You still have this passion for radio. Did you initially start off at radio, like pursuing radio actively, or did you start with something else before you actually went into radio?
No, actually, we were always playing around with cassettes, and that time it was vinyls, the records at home. Would have some birthday parties at home,
Okay.
and I'll be the DJ. I'll be the hitman. I'll be PJ. I'll be George Mnetsi at home.
Okay.
And my sisters used to have fun with that. And my cousins, they would tease me. I had an uncle actually who would say, you can't be a radio DJ because you're mild. You are more reserved. Radio DJing needs somebody to be
Out of the box.
outspoken.
Yeah.
You have to be that person that's just lets loose, you know, like Simon Parkinson. There was a DJ called Simon Parkinson on 3FM. They used to call him Mahobo. He was just a motor mouth. Yes, those kind of guys.
All right. So do you remember your first radio experience? Like the first time you got on radio? How was it for you? And where was it actually?
You know, my first experience on radio was at Power 101 in Malawi,
In
not in Zimbabwe.
When did you actually leave Zimbabwe?
I left Zimbabwe, I think, 2001. I was coming for my dad's memorial service.
Okay.
Yes. My dad passed away in 1999. 2000, I came. 99, I actually came for his burial. He was buried a week after I came. 2000 passed. Then 2001, we had a memorial in Kadabe, in Chifira. So I had to go there. I traveled all the way. So now on my way back, I'm going to Zimbabwe. I'm in a bus. Then I hear an advert right in the middle of the night. We're looking for DJs at Power 101. I don't know whose voice it was. So I'm like, okay, they're looking for DJs. I've been planning to be a DJ for, I don't know, for quite some. So I come down to Blantyre. We're near a bus depot. I drop off, then get a minibus early in the morning.
So initially the plan was not to stay, but you heard this advert.
I just had the advert. Actually, I was just going back to Zimbabwe.
Okay.
I was going to Zimbabwe, like I'll catch a bus, Munurama, then I'll be back to Zim.
Yeah.
So I go, I jump into a minibus the next day to Power 101. I walk in there, they tell me they've done the auditions. It's done, it's over.
There's no more room.
There's no more room. So I'm talking to a security guard. His name was Chika Pupa.
Okay. It's really sweet that you remember that.
I remember everything. Because, you know, in life, I'll tell you one thing that we don't realize. God actually plants people that you can meet. But because you hardly know it, it's spiritual. You hardly realize it's happening. But actually, God plants people for you to meet every day.
Yeah, true.
Even in your darkest hour, God actually does that. So I believe that man was there for a reason on that day. In fact, he was supposed to be off on that day, from what I hear.
Really?
Yes, it was a Saturday.
That was a sign.
You see, Saturday morning, I walk in there. Tokotembo is the one on radio.
Oh.
He's the one on radio. I don't know what he was doing, top whatever. So Chika Pupa says, but then we're done with this. Probably if you can manage, maybe on a Monday, but I don't know if that's possible. Now,
I should come back on a Monday.
I should come back on a Monday,
interview.
which is something that's not even in my head.
Yeah.
But now this is what surprises my small brain. Junior morning, the head of DJs at that time is walking down the steps, and the head of security, Chika Pupa, says, there's this guy. He wants to do auditions, but actually he's late. Junior Manning is like, nah, let's just try him.
Yeah.
Now, it's crazy how life works. Let's just try this guy. Okay, I go in there. There's Estelle Nseula, one lady. There's Junior Manning. Then Cord was actually there. Cord Sangala.
Okay.
Three guys. Togo Tembo is doing his program. So on the other side, it's where they did auditions for me. They say, okay, pretend you're on radio. In 5 minutes, pretend you're on radio. There's no music. Introduce yourself. Select the music that you want. Talk about the music. Talk about the weather. Talk about anything.
Yeah.
Just pretend you're on radio. My introduction on that day, I think, is the one that won those guys.
Okay. Well, do you still remember what it was about?
Yeah, I remember vividly.
Okay.
Somehow, somewhere.
So who did you go by in your intro? What did you intro yourself as?
Ephraim Nyirenda.
Okay.
The one and only, the E square.
Okay.
Ephraim Alvin Nyirenda, the third. Ephraim Alvin, like easy.
Okay.
That's E square.
Yeah.
Those two. Those are my initials. Those are my names. Alvin, like a middle name. So I use those to introduce myself.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, we'll take you to different places in a short space of time. Stateside, the UK, and we'll bring you back to Africa. Here and there, we'll be talking about everyone and everything that you can think of. As long as you can get in touch with us, we'll still give you all that information. But in the process, we'll still send shout outs to you for just giving us that information. Now, our first track is from two guys from a group called Jodeci, formerly Jodeci. Two sets of brothers, Dalvin and Devant, Casey and Jojo, the Haley brothers. These are the Great brothers. You see? Two sets of brothers. Now, this team, they used to be called Jodeci. Now, Casey and Jojo actually went separate ways with these guys. But all the same, they remain friends. And this is what they have. Please. And then after that, that was Casey and Jojo, the Haley brothers. Now, we have Mary. We're talking about gospel artists. But they're also sisters.
Yeah.
Now, that is where I saw guys that were on the other side, you know? Like,
He knows his
yes,
stuff.
he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
The moment I sign off, Code and Estelle,
Okay.
I think they were convinced, telling Junior Manning. Junior Manning actually, from the word go, I think he just loved the way I was flowing.
Yeah, he had the big.
Yes. So the moment I get out, they tell me, you have the sport. We've just taken out one of the guys that we had there. I don't know who it was.
So you took somebody else's
Yes, I took someone else's sport. That's so nasty. But then,
you got your dream. You got your dream job.
Yes. Now, they tell me on Monday, just come around 8 o'clock. You'll meet the guys that you will be with. So I go in there, and there's Nicole Masauli, the one that I got to meet. There's a girl called Deja. There's Kenny Clips. There's Mr. Sleek. And I was the fifth one.
Okay.
I don't know who was removed from there. But these guys,
The big five.
when we started together, it was like a family.
Yeah.
From the word go, I started staying with Kenny Clips.
Because
Because I had nowhere to go.
you're coming from Zim.
I had nowhere to go. I had my US dollars. Yes, I had US dollars. I had US dollars.
Okay.
So I had nowhere to go. Literally, when we finished around 11 o'clock, when they were showing us the place, I had the guts to say, guys, I'm from Zimbabwe. I don't know anybody here. I literally don't know anybody.
I just came here for.
I just
to try
came
myself.
here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was leaving for home. Kenny Clips is like, no, come on. We'll hang out together. That's how that guy was. He didn't know me. And we became very good friends. That's one dude that I miss today. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
All right, so how long were you actually at 101?
101, I think I was there for 6 to 8 months, somewhere there.
Okay.
I'm not so sure, but I think I was there for 6 to 8 months because the money, man. The money, we had to survive.
Yeah.
We had to survive. It was too little.
Yeah. Was it disappointing to see that the money was too little?
No, actually, the money, I saw it maybe after 4 or 5 months.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's when I realized, no, it's too little.
Yeah.
But then the excitement was, I'm here. I'm handling it. And I met so many fantastic DJs at that time. The guys that were holding this station. It was amazing. So, you know, you're just a kid who's almost in the early 20s. And all you wanted was that dream. And now that you got the dream, you say, I'm living the dream. So that's all that I wanted. Now,
8 months at.
for me to see that the money was too little, it's when I would go out shopping and I would find that I can't even buy myself a sneaker
Yeah.
because I need to pay the rent. I need to get the food. It got to me. It got to me. The pride in me of loving radio actually, it got chipped. You know, you're working on
Did it get to questioning in your mind about how the radio guys that you looked up to back home were probably living?
No, that's where it gets crazy. Because in 3 months after I started, the hitman came back to Malawi.
Interesting.
Yes, the hitman came back to
What was
Malawi.
he doing in Malawi?
He was to head the station again. He
At
was coming from
101.
yes, at 101. He was coming from the UK. He left Zimbabwe, I think, 98 to join Power 101. So since that time, he was at Power 101. Then the time I was coming into Malawi, he was not there. 2 months, 3 months down the line, that's when he was coming back. So when he came back, the awe that I had for that man, you know, just seeing him walking there. You know, Hitman is actually shorter than me.
No way. You know,
So now you just see your hero walking in.
and he's just there. Like, hello.
And then he says, Hitman, oh, yes, I know you. Actually, I grew up on
Were
you.
you disappointed?
No.
You say it like, oh, he's just a short man.
No, actually, that is me trying to be at least okay. I'm a human being, you know? So I didn't realize that I'm taller than this guy.
Okay.
But he was way ahead of me in terms of everything that you can think of musically.
He's a hitman.
The hitman. So when he heard that I was from Zimbabwe, he took me in as a big brother.
That's nice.
Handled me. He would actually give me, you know, 1,000 kwacha. 1,000 kwacha was a lot of money back then. It was a lot of money. He'd actually say, young man, go get yourself something. The brotherly love that he had for me. I actually said, you know what? There's some things that we don't understand. 1989, I was listening to this guy on radio. Fast forward, 2001, this guy is actually telling me, son, go get yourself something.
Never did you ever see that happening.
I actually told my sisters, they were like, what? Hitman is there? I'm like, yes, he is. My sister was in South Africa. My other sister was in Zimbabwe. My other brother was in Zimbabwe. And the other one was in TZ in Tanzania.
All right.
So when I was telling them that Hitman is here with me, they were like, really?
He's my boy.
You're actually living your dream, man. See?
All right, so fast forward from 101, where did that take you from now? After 8 months at 101, where did you move from there?
Capital FM.
All right.
Capital FM. Capital FM is this was George Kalindawalo.
101, and you were talking about how you were just filling in the shoes of one of the best presenters there at Capital Radio.
It was actually, I felt it was an honor for me to just walk in 2 weeks and then I get to be given that spot, breakfast show. get up and go. It was the prime time. It's one that kickstarts the whole day.
Yeah.
You know, everything starts from the breakfast show. Those were the words that I was given by Aladdin Osman. He says, now you're carrying this. You're like the last born, carrying your elder brothers and your sisters all the way. It doesn't matter where you're coming from or what you've been through, but this is the foundation to how you kickstart everything from here onwards. This is where you make the choices, the right choices. So the fact that they told me that I was walking in the shoes of Luis Paulo, that gave me an inch taller. You know, it made me feel, oh yes. So if this
no
man,
pressure at all.
there was no pressure at all. In fact, it built on me. Because when I went home, I said, you know what? If somebody has confidence in me, why shouldn't I also have that in me? I didn't even know that I had that kind of strength. So the moment, my first day on a Monday in the morning, 6 to 9 o'clock, I think that's the best time that I've ever had on radio.
Yeah.
Ever.
From
that time
101.
till today, 101, Capital FM, NBC, that moment that I walked in there
at Capital Radio.
at Capital FM, the moment I played my first record, you know my first record at Capital FM?
You still remember
I still
it?
remember
No,
it.
come on.
I still
What was
remember
it?
it. You to me are everything. That was the first record I played on Capital FM.
Wow.
It was just beautiful. The moment I played that record, I felt on top of the world. I felt I can do anything. And that was it. Till today, once in a while, I play that record. But it always reminds me of the day that I played. And do you know, when I walked out at 9 o'clock, in fact, before I walked out at 9 o'clock, Mr. Osman somewhere, somehow, called the engineer and said, we have our man. Telling me he's doing fantastic.
That's amazing.
That was it.
That call alone.
That call alone
That
was
is-
enough to make me relate with anybody. And you know that time, the thing about radio back then, that time at Power 101, there was Nicole Masauli and Penelope Kakobe. They were doing the breakfast show on Power 101. I went toe to toe with them all by myself.
That's amazing.
It was an amazing feeling. And when Mr. Osman told me that you did a very good job, it's beautiful. But then the next day, he still has to correct you.
Yeah.
All the way,
For
through and
sure.
through. All the way. Why did you say that? Why did you use this word? You didn't pronounce it properly, you know? So it was always a learning process. But did I regret being there? Not at all. Now,
How long were you at Capital Radio?
at Capital FM, I think I was there for about 9 months.
Okay. Longer than
Longer than 101,
than-
yes.
What made it 9 months this time at Capital?
I don't even know. I don't even know. Really, I don't.
Okay.
I was just enjoying myself. But then, someone somehow spotted me
From
from
Capital
NBC now.
FM. Okay.
NBC. They had Martin Chirimampunga was the head of Radio 2 FM.
Okay.
He was the controller of Radio 2 FM. He actually advised Steve Liwobata, who was his chief, get me that kid. I want him here. My chicheo was just pathetic.
Yeah, coming in from Zim. And
It was
how did you
just...
actually cope with that on radio?
At Capital FM, it was beautiful because
Yeah.
there was nothing like that. At Power 101, there was nothing like that. So I was okay.
it?
I was enjoying myself.
Uh-huh.
Now,
That's
At NBC.
Yeah.
they come in, hate it or love it. You know the funny thing about life is we try to run away from the real thing. We do all the time. Somebody comes up to you and tells you, we want you to join us. It's a good feeling. But when somebody dangles a little money, that is more than what you're earning. Oh, it's fascinating.
It is.
Everybody.
Is that what happened?
Yes, that's what happened.
Okay.
Everyone has a price tag, and I had mine.
And
I loved Capital FM, and I still love Capital FM to bits. I love if you ask me, the best days of my life, they were at Capital FM.
That's amazing.
It is the truth.
From comparing it to NBC
To
and
101?
101.
Yes.
Capital
Because
FM.
at Capital FM, it's where I learned a lot.
It was a learning process then for you.
And it was a beautiful process.
Hmm.
We had the ups and downs, the twists and turns here and there. They were always there. You know, at times you wake up in the morning, you'll be like, I don't want to go there.
You're
You know?
scared.
You're scared
Yeah.
because the door to the studios was just closed to
They
the
could
boss.
easily barge in and get out of my studio.
Yes, they could do that if they wanted.
Yeah.
You know, but the moment you're coming out of there, they'll call you in.
Mm.
This is what you did. So that kind of thinking was like, every day I have to go through this
Yeah,
process.
pressure.
Nah.
Mhm.
So when NBC came calling, I was ready to let go.
Okay.
But it was one hell of a fight.
Mm.
Actually,
Between Capital FM or
and NBC, yes.
okay, a fight
Only-
for you.
Yes. And only the bosses can tell you the truth about it.
Mm.
There's this thing about radio wars. I don't know how far true it was. Like they had an arrangement where you can't poach our presenters, that kind of thing. It was there between NBC, between Capital FM and Power 101. You don't take ours unless that person is a reject. So with me at that time, I wasn't a reject.
Yeah.
But when I was leaving 101, I think I was a reject.
What made you feel that?
I believe so, because at that time,
Because you mentioned all these big names that were there at the
Yes.
time.
and those guys were really big.
Yeah.
We were just the small fish in a huge fish pond. They had DJ Greens, they had Bantons, they had Starks, they had Junior Morning, they had DJ Il, probably one of the finest DJs that you can ever listen to. Yes, they had all those guys, Penelope Kakowes, you know, those guys that were manning the main programs, the primetime programs.
So they put you on one of those programs.
I wasn't even in the prime.
Oh.
No, I wasn't. I was just a kid. I was actually doing the cruise vibes on a Saturday
Okay.
between 4 and 6, and you're competing with football.
Mm.
You see, you're competing with
Yeah.
football at the stadium. So one of those. Then in the morning, I was on gospel call. Who listens to gospel call? Just a few.
Yeah. Especially
You see?
one-on-one, yeah.
So, but then the funny thing is, I didn't realize that there were so many people that were listening to me. I didn't until I left. That's when I realized, oh, I had a following. But at Capital FM, I had a good, beautiful following.
Yeah. Beautiful. You said that with a smile.
Yes.
Okay.
'Cause-
Describe it.
This is somebody from the ghetto, right? And all of a sudden, you have Sunnyside calling. You have Nyambadwe calling. You have, is it Area 43? You know, those places that are suburban.
Yeah.
They're all in you. They're talking
calling
about you. They're
you, this
calling you.
ghetto kid.
You actually listen to the accent. You actually listen to the way they speak to you. Bishop Mackenzie kids. Yeah. So you realize,
look at you,
oh, this thing is
Gotta go.
up.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unbelievable. That's it.
All right. So you've been in radio for over 20 years. I cannot imagine how many hurdles that you've had to.
How many?
How many hurdles
Okay.
that
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
had to come across? Just take us through some of the disadvantages or the problems that you've faced as a radio personality / DJ in Malawi.
Jumping into a minibus.
Jumping into a minibus.
Jumping into a minibus.
I'll fist bump you to that one.
Okay?
Yeah.
Jumping into a minibus. Oh, man. And somebody realizes, oh, it's you.
It's you.
So, dude, you got nothing.
Why are you here?
You see? That was one thing that really...
That's taking you really into a downward spiral.
It actually puts you down.
Mm.
It actually puts you down when you realize Malawians, I'm sorry, I'll say it, but I'll say it in a way, if it does offend anyone, I'm sorry. But then people don't realize a man is got a passion, one. A man is going to feed themselves, two. Three, in life, you're just trying to make it. You're trying to make ends meet. So, however situation I'm in at this time, please don't judge it. Because you never know. Tomorrow, I may be somebody that you look up to, you know? There's some people that just wants to put you down just because of the situation that you're in at the time.
True.
Big on radio, but
not so much in real life.
So what I'm trying to say is Malawi doesn't appreciate talent. They don't. I'm sorry, but I'll say it again. Malawi doesn't appreciate talent when they have it, unless somebody picks it up. South Africa, they appreciate theirs.
They do. They really do.
They actually appreciate theirs. In Malawi, it's not like that. I don't know how.
Or why.
I really don't. But I just grew up and realized I can just accept it. But there's so many talented artists, musicians, DJs. The moment they go outside the borders of Malawi, people be like, wow. You know, that kind of thing. That's how it is. So that part actually messed me up because at times would go DJing in different places and we'll not be driving our own cars because we never had.
Yeah.
We'll jump into minibuses and some people, just because they hate your guts or they hate indirectly what you don't know about, or because
our national anthem says a little word
because
there.
Ephraim has dated so and so who apparently was their crush or anything of that sort, but they can't tell you. But just because they see you in a minibus, they'll have a problem with you. So they'll say it, and it's an insult that you carry all the way even back home. You know,
that one seems to hit you. So this is a very unexpected one, I must say. This wasn't the first one I was expecting.
Okay.
The jumping into a minibus. But it's very surprising, but I will agree with you on that one.
Then it comes to DJing in the clubs. DJing in the clubs, somebody, because they realize, okay, you're a crowd puller, you're walking in there, but they won't give you what you're worth. I would ask for 20,000 kwacha in there. Do you know I'll end up at 5,000 kwacha?
No.
You'd end up at that.
That's a lot.
Why? Because you wanted to just feed yourself, get yourself out of the mess that you were in, and because the money that you were earning was not enough to take you through the whole month. It will just take you to probably halfway the month, and in there you'd be supplementing with the DJ gigs.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how it was. Those things actually helped me to such an extent that I decided, okay, I think the DJing part, I'll do it as a part-time. Let me get myself back to school.
So you hit the books again?
I did.
What did you study?
And
then?
I did hit them hard.
Yeah?
I went for business communication at Poly.
That's nice.
Because back in Zim, I had gone through Cambridge. I did Cambridge.
Okay.
Yeah, so Cambridge was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that, I got myself a place at Poly, did well, and I had some tutors.
Okay.
I had some youngsters who had just come from school, some kids who were fresh from secondary school. They helped me out. And in fact, I was eager to learn from them. And surprise, surprise, my certificate comes out even better than those kids. You know? Why? Because I had to panel beat myself every day. Every day. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Because I knew my head has been like, what, 20, 25 years away from books? So I had to hit them hard.
Yeah.
Panel beat myself, read every day. That was my life. 4 years. In fact, it was 4 years instead of 5 years. In fact, it was 5 years instead of 4.
Okay.
Because Poly had strikes then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went through that, but damn, it was good. So I went through that, managed to get myself a bachelor's.
Nice.
So with that, I went into what I love most now,
Which is
marketing.
nice.
Yep.
That's lovely. So do you have a marketing agency, or how does that work?
In fact, I don't have a marketing agency,
Okay.
but
But
I love doing anything that is related to marketing. I make money out of marketing, ideas, voiceovers,
Okay.
here and there. I do the adverts. I can edit radio and TV adverts. I can do that. So I get money out of it.
all right. So you've been at NBC, a seemingly politically affiliated environment, as well, popularly known for that. How have you managed to work your way at NBC, and how have you managed to sustain yourself there up until now?
Beautiful question. In fact, looking at NBC, it's always associated with politics, and in politics, meaning that we're supposed to serve the government of the day, and that's in,
Quote.
yes. Nobody can run away from that. It's a fact. We've seen it. I've been there for almost 20 years. I've seen it.
Has it ever affected you when you were working on air, or have you ever been affected directly by it?
No.
How so? How do you relate it?
In fact, growing up, my dad, the thing that actually he punched into my small head growing up was, don't ever trust a politician,
Okay.
no matter what. A politician comes to you and says, here is this. He's simply saying, I give you this. You're totally indebted to me for the rest of your life. You're going to pay for this probably 5-10 times what I give you in this hand. Because whatever is hiding behind you is unbelievably enormous, enough to destroy whatever you have here. So in that context, and that's me growing up in Zimbabwe, where ZANU-PF was like the real deal then.
Yeah.
So with that, I realized I don't need a politician. A politician, yes, is there. He's running the country. They're doing all they're doing because they're pulling the strings in almost every other department, every other administration related to them, because they are the money. They have it. What am I? I'm just
A puppet.
that small thing in there, you know, that small fish in the pond, but they're the whales. You can't fight the world, can you?
No.
You can't fight that machinery, can you? You cannot. So I'm in the system. If I had it my way, I wouldn't be in that system. Honestly.
The system, meaning we're talking about
Meaning,
NBC, or...
meaning the system that's political.
Okay.
Yes, I wouldn't even
So
want
you're
to be
in
in
the
that.
system.
I'm in the system. You are in the system. Everybody is in the system.
Oh, okay.
But now it depends on how you look at the system. How do I survive? Can the politician come and pay you, give you money for rent? No, he cannot. I'm getting paid by NBC. So I look at NBC as the hand that feeds me, not the politician. So why should I talk about the politician? When I know that the politician, the moment I talk about him, he'll say, okay, you won't punish me directly. He will go to the hand that feeds me. And the hand that feeds me will directly, not indirectly, but directly stifle everything about me. It's either they'll tell me, this one, take him off air.
Because you said something.
Yes.
Has
but-
that ever happened to you?
No, because I've always been neutral.
Okay.
Never say anything political. If I said it, then I said it diplomatically. Yes. No wonder I ended up saying, okay, I'm the one and only with airways diplomatic immunity on air. I say that because
that.
I talk about everything that's socially happening in the country. I say it. I say it in a way that even the politician will say, okay, he's telling the truth. But I'm not pointing at him. I'm just saying things that are happening in the country.
Yeah.
You know, tell me you don't get affected by fuel, because you do.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be in a minibus, you jump onto a minibus, you have to use money. Today you have 5 kwacha. The next day somebody tells you it's 10 kwacha. How do you feel? I have to talk about it. The one that increased that 5 kwacha to 10 kwacha, he feels the pain. He's done it. Why? Because he has to sustain his fleet of taxis, the minibuses. It's rightly so. And whoever has made that person increase that also had to do that. Why? Because they have to sustain their livelihood too.
Like a ripple.
So it's like a cycle. So who am I supposed to point at? Am I supposed to say, okay, you're not doing this, so I have to be against you? He'll tell you, no, I'm just doing this because I have to survive. That's life. So I have no choice. I just have to do what I have to do. What is it that I do best? Motor mouth. That's it.
Yeah.
I go on radio, I talk about the way I see things out there. But do you know I don't have to say it in a negative way? Because believe you me, there's nobody who wakes up in the morning and says, I have to listen to negative stuff.
Yeah.
I have to.
Somebody wants to find it.
I have to find a way of accommodating that person, so they have to put a smile on their face, even if they're feeling the pain. That's what I'm paid to do. I go on radio, put up a smile on their face. I'm also supposed to say it in a way that I'm smiling.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to know that this person is in a happy mood while they're on radio. You don't see their face. You don't see their smile.
It's the vibe.
But it's the vibe, it's the energy that they're bringing out to you. That's that friendly thing that you need for them. Because the moment I wake up in the morning and be like, do you know that prices have gone up? Tell me already, that person who's listening, they get pissed off. Why is he reminding me of this? They switch off. They go to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's a feel-good world that I need to put out there. I don't have to remind people that, hey, this is what we're going out. This is what we're going through.
Let's deal with it.
But it's still there. But I have to find a way of motivating that person, of inspiring that person.
To get up every day.
Yes, to get up every day. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the people around you, your families. So neutrally, it's how I've survived at MBC. I've never been partisan affiliated. I've never been a member of any party. And honestly,
You have your opinions, though.
my opinions,
Yeah.
I keep them to myself and probably my family and the 4 corners that surround me at home.
Okay.
Yeah, I can talk about anybody in my home. Unless you're telling me really, somebody is listening in my home, then we have a problem. Then that's where we have a problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's my private stuff. That's my private family.
Of course, it's your private stuff. Okay, so there's with the coming in of internet from back in the day when you started, and now it's gotten a lot of people to come out more in terms of the media space. We're looking at podcasts. We're looking at so many, like an influx of sorts of people coming into the space of media, and it's not just radio that's available to everybody or television. We also have online platforms and podcasting. What do you think about these platforms coming in? Do you think that they're killing radio? And
Radio will never die.
yeah,
Radio will never die.
what makes you say that?
I say this because if you're one of those people that grew up loving radio, or you find that in radio, you find solace. You're not only finding solace in the music, you're finding solace in the person that's presenting to you. That person is becoming your friend, regardless of the fact that you don't know them. That person is radio. That person is saying, hi, I'm Ephraim Nyirenda. I want to be your friend. Can you? If you find yourself giving Ephraim that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you'd be surprised to realize that you become so close to him, yet you don't even know him. You become so close to that lady that's on the radio, yet you hardly know them. Why is it like that? That's the beauty. They're telling you the song, a song that's related to whatever you're going through. They talk to you on a personal level in the context that you're saying, okay, this person feels what I feel. Now, internet radio, the beauty of it is leveling that field. Are you talking about the podcast? You're talking about the YouTubes? You're talking about all those things. Now, those kind of platforms have actually given us another aspect of showcasing talent that other people cannot manage to go on radio, to go on TV, but they manage to get themselves in that forum. But now, most of those people, if you look at it very closely, they're not done journalism, they're not done broadcasting. The ethics that go with handling you as an individual that's at home, it's not there.
Yeah.
It's not there. Somebody, because they just witnessed an accident somewhere and they have a purge, they just throw it there.
And a phone.
They just throw it there. And imagine you coming, okay, let's just take you from the home aspect where you just left your home. Your dad, your mom, your sis, your brother, and or any of your closest relatives, they just leave home. They're going to their workplace. And in 30 minutes, you just happen to be on Facebook. Then you see that person that just left home 30 minutes ago lying in the highway, dead, right there, blood all over. How would you feel? That's the ethics that's missing. Because in the real world, where the ethics of broadcasting, we don't do that.
No.
We don't do that. We don't. It takes off kaumuntu.
Yeah.
It takes off ubuntu. It takes it out. And you don't want to be associated with that.
But
I
we
don't
see a
know.
lot of people actually wanting to see such content, despite them bringing about, despite them having consumed that content that was not supposed to be seen in the first place. They want to see it. You know, that curiosity just drives them to seeing it. So at the end of the day, what did you say? It's like curiosity as well at the same time.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah. So it's
It
definitely
kills
something right now.
that humanity in you. It does. Because literally, yes, we want to see those kind of graphics, but you don't want to see those raw graphics if they are related to you. You don't want that.
True.
You don't want that. So in a way, the way they expose it to you, they don't take time to say, okay, I'm doing it for somebody out there who hasn't seen this. They don't edit it in a nice way.
Yeah.
While the broadcaster himself, they tell you, okay, this content is graphically no under 18, you know, please.
Viewer discretion is advised.
It is. So you have that before you even watch it. You say, do I really need to watch this? Then all of a sudden you make a choice. No, I don't want to see this. Now with social media, it's not like that.
Yeah.
And then there's people who take it so personal. I don't like you. So we're going live, you know. I'll talk about you on my page. I'll talk about you on YouTube. I'll make sure that I destroy you. They wake up in the morning, they'll be looking for problems. I'll attack you left, right, and center. Why? Because I want the numbers. They'll do it. But before you realize,
that would have been happening in your time when you were back in the day when you were coming up in the radio industry? Do you think that that is something that would have been happening? Was there beef like that to a point where you think that these people would have probably gone live?
Beef musically, because they wanted to sell their music, it was there. But it wasn't to that extent. That beef, I think the worst part that we saw about beef was in the state side, where it was Biggie, Pike, West Coast, East Coast, that kind of beef. But in Malawi, no. In Africa, no. No, we never seen that. If we were to have that kind of, it was because those guys were just trying to push themselves. In fact, it was iron sharpening iron, that kind of thing. Okay. Masco, it's just a figurative way. Masco, Pixie. Pixie says, there's no way Masco can be better than me. I just have to show them that I'm better than him. So what does he do? He releases a song. The same month that Masco releases one. I'm just saying figuratively, right? Okay. Literally. They do that. Now people, they compare the Lionel Messi and CR7 kind of thing. It's just the people that are comparing. Why is it that this one, the moment he releases a song, this one also releases one? There must be beef. We never seen these guys on the same podium. There must be beef. It's people creating that. And the media fuels it for their own numbers. They are on, but they don't take it extensively the way the East Coast, West Coast did. Nah.
All right, so who would you say are some of the artists that you've worked with closely that you enjoyed working with them, and why?
I've worked with Tigrin on the past. Very cool. Very business oriented. I've worked with Masco. Okay. Smart. Yeah. Masco, I think, for me, I don't know what happens on the way. Probably money or something. But Masco, for me, very smart. Very smart. That guy is one of the guys that I've worked with. Very humble. Okay. Yes, I've worked with Jay Banda, entertainment promotions. Business acumen, smart. Yeah, those are the kind of guys that I can say they knew where they wanted to be. Yes. Are there some people as well that you've worked with and said, we didn't have a good run here? There was a little bit of tension or rough patch. As a DJ, yes. Yeah. That was something to do with you coming up. You're just a young man coming up in the industry. And, when you're a DJ coming up in the industry, there's other DJs who've been there for quite a long time. And they'll give you, I don't know whether it was to embarrass you or it was a way of teaching you. They'll give you probably the first hour where there's nobody. Yep. They give you the first hour. You'll be karambula, that kind of thing. But now, in the process, you find there's one or two guys that are in there, and there's a whole lot of people outside. And then you say, okay, you know what? This is a learning process. Let me just do it. The moment you start playing 5-10 minutes, you find people flocking in. Now, those people, the moment they get in, there's like, whoa, it's exciting. And those other DJs, they didn't expect that. They're veterans, right? Now, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to mention names. Come on. I was at no, I cannot. You sure? Nah, definitely just whisper something. No, I cannot. Just stand up a little and then whispers. Okay. I'm at Power 101. I stayed at Power 101 for about 7-8 months. Okay. Then I go out there, and then you start playing, and then everybody starts jumping in. You find those DJs that gave you that spot. They're coming to tell you, now we can play. Because everybody is on the dance floor. Yeah. Now you're playing, okay, since this is not my show, I'm just a new kid on the block. You step on out. 10, 15 minutes, the dance floor starts opening up again. There's nobody.
Yeah.
And they start looking for you again.
Oh.
You know? Those are the kind of experiences that we had back then.
That's interesting. Okay, so being a DJ and a man, especially on radio, I want to imagine, especially Galigario, there were a lot of, men on radio were like the ladies' man.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of those thank you, Mr. DJ kind of
Okay,
vibes,
yeah.
that was the vibe.
Mm.
And there were a lot of ladies that loved men on radio. Would you say you were a ladies' man? Did you ever have that run for yourself?
Truthfully,
Yeah.
I wish it was off the record, but then it is what it is. Yes, I was.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have those.
Mm.
Yeah. And to be honest, we thank God we're still alive.
Mm.
Really, we thank God for that.
There's a lot of talk about how media personalities in general are associated almost immediately with promiscuity. What are your thoughts about that?
It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Nobody can run away from that. It's
Is
the
it?
truth. They might lie to you,
Mhm.
but it is what it is. It's the truth. But then 99.9% they learned from their mistakes.
Mm.
We fathered children from different places.
Mm.
How are we looking after them? After that, we've grown up, we faced all those things. We regret them. I mean, the mistakes that we made. It's one thing that you don't want to be associated with, but it's always there.
Mm.
It's there because we were kids. We were all going through that. It's a painful thing, but why do we have to lie that we didn't go through that? We went through it. If somebody comes down here and tell you they never faced it, they're lying.
Mm.
Ladies' choice,
Mm.
ladies' man, all that kind of stuff. It was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So
And sorry to say this, but I think in the long run, it wasn't us as DJs that lent that. The ladies also lent it.
Mhm.
But there are a few that you can trust. From
the
there,
ladies that are in the industry,
Yeah.
or the ladies that
everybody,
Okay.
the ladies in the industry, they were also sought after. So many guys,
Yeah.
money-wise. They couldn't resist the men that they met at that time. Well, some of us couldn't resist the ladies that we met at that time because they had money. And some of them, it wasn't about money. It was just, oh, she's hot. She's beautiful. That kind of stuff.
Mm.
But in the long run, all we can say is, thank God we are alive today. And with that, we learned our mistakes. If somebody still judges you for the mistakes in the past, then that's absolutely wrong.
Mm.
That's absolutely wrong. Because everybody been through something. Everybody been through something.
Mm.
Only that something is not been laid out to the other people out there.
Yeah.
It's not been laid out to the world.
Mm.
But everybody has something that's they're hiding. DJs, they've been a mess.
Mm.
And I don't think anybody would say, oh, I would want my daughter to be married to be a DJ. Like, seriously.
Mm.
It's the truth.
But you're married.
Yes, I did.
How did that happen?
I think it was that time when I just realized, you know what? I'd lost a couple of guys, a lot of friends, in the industry then. Started realizing wherever I'm taking myself, it's not going to be okay.
Mm.
Yeah. You just come to terms with it.
Mm.
And when you go to sleep, you realize, no. Is this me? Is this what I want? Every time you go to sleep, you have that conscience. It hurts.
Mm.
It hurts when you realize you lost a friend, you lost And you know how you lost that friend. You know, it hurts when you think about the good times that you had and realize, oh, it's likely to be that lady. It does hurt.
Yeah, that was quite deep. You had a really deep moment there.
Yeah.
All right, so there are a lot of journalism schools that are coming up. You know, broadcasting is quite popular, I could say. It's becoming quite popular now, especially maybe people that want to branch out into podcasting, but some people also still love the aspect of radio and television as, you know, the old school type of broadcasting. What would you say would be your advice to the ones that are learning in journalism schools? What is it that they should have in mind as they're getting into the industry? Because I feel like some people are just going there and they're thinking, oh, I want to be a celebrity, or, oh, I'm going to be a really good DJ. But what is it that they need to also have in the back of their minds apart from that?
It's passion. Passion drives you in almost everything that you do. Anything that you do with a passion, because you're doing it passionately. At first, you don't look at the salary. You don't look at the end products. You don't look at, am I going to be famous or not? You look at what it makes you feel. Because when I was going into radio, it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the fame. It wasn't about the fortune. It wasn't all about that. It's what it made me feel whenever I listened to Peter Jones, whenever I listened to Hosea Singende, the hitman, whenever I listened to George Mnetsi. It wasn't about who they were. It was about what they did for me out there in a small town. That's the passion. The passion overcomes almost everything. When you do something passionately, believe you me, you get to be at places that people don't even think you would be. I, for one, DJ'd in weird places. Chibuku taverns. I did that. Small parties where you only have 10 people. I did that. But did I complain? No, I enjoyed the music, because while I was doing that, I was sharpening myself. I didn't know that I was sharpening myself, because to me, it was the beauty of the music, how I'd see those people dancing, what it made them feel. That's all that was with me, the passion. So now the passion drove me to the radio. And I said, I want to learn everything about radio. And boy, did I learn. I did. Everything. Because I had great teachers in the process, teachers that I never thought I could have. From my mentors that I grew up listening to probably one that I say is a father mentor, Martin Chimampunga. Because that time I had lost my dad. When I went to Radio 2 FM MBC, you know, that kind of thing where you just, like a shotgun, you shoot and you're all over the place. I was all over the place. Every other place that you can think of, I was there. Why? Because I loved music. But then in the process, I met Martin Chimampunga and he shaped me to be a better presenter. From Capital FM to MBC, I met Chimampunga. He was a father figure. He actually protected me from the things that could have destroyed me then. Women.
He said, just said plain and simple.
Yes.
Women.
He said, this, the moment you go through this, look at the way they're coming around. Otherwise, if you really go with it. So he made sure I would get programs like midnight. Like, okay, you start from 9 o'clock to 12 midnight. Then the next day you're coming back again at 9 a.m. or 12 noon. Do you think you can have time to run around?
No.
He was actually pressing you to be on radio.
Yeah.
Why? Because he just wanted to shield you away
Protect you,
from the negative vibes that we guys were getting. And we really were getting into negative things. Believe you me. Yeah. Yes.
All right. So when all is said and done, what does Ephraim Nyirenda hope to leave behind? A legacy in either broadcasting or whatever it is that you hope to leave behind?
I would love to be remembered as the friendly voice on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The smiling one.
Yeah.
The smiling face for the loving nation. That's all. If I can get that, if somebody says, oh, that dude, man, he was ever happy, ever smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The smiling one.
Yeah.
The smiling face for the loving nation. That's all. If I can get that, if somebody says, oh, that dude, man, he was ever happy, ever smiling. Maybe you didn't realize this is the first interview I've ever had. I've always refused interviews from way back.
I'm very honored that you actually came through.
Yeah.
And this was very enlightening. Trust me, I have actually learned some pointers.
Thank
so
you.
many of them. I've
Thank
taken
you.
some notes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through.
And I'm glad that you also part of Mr. Osman, you know?
Under his wings.
I don't know how to put it. Mr. Osman, actually, he's trained almost every other media personality that's gone on to be known in this country.
You know, there was a get-together at some point.
Yeah, I
Were
remember
you
that
there?
one. I wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
That time I think I was in Zuzu, but I was told about it, and unfortunately I didn't contribute to anything. But then, it was a good thing those guys did that. The Mpatsu Charukas, all those other guys from Capital FM that were there, most of them I worked with. Some of them I never did, but it was a good gesture to see them doing that for Aladdin Osman. Unbelievable.
Would you say he's one of the legendary people when it comes to broadcasting? Private broadcasting?
Legendary actually is overrated.
Overrated, okay.
I wish there was another word for him.
Is it?
Yeah. I wish there could be another word for him. Martin Chirimamponga, Aladdin Osman, I put them in my world the best ever Malawi has ever had. I'm sorry if I offended someone out there, but it is what it is. For me, yeah, others I don't know, but for me, those two, rate them above everybody else. Yes.
That's amazing.
Malawian standards.
Malawian standard.
They actually did well because they taught almost every Jack and Jill that you know here that has done radio, whether they've been on TV at NBC, whether they've been on Times. Ask them if they are modest enough. You'll find out that they all came from the school of Aladdin Osman or Martin Chirimampongas. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Ephraim. That was very enlightening and very beautiful. That was our guest for Who Is Today. Very, very amazing chat, and I hope that you have actually learned something too. If you know that you're actually branching into broadcasting, then definitely this one was for you. Ephraim Nyirenda was our guest for today. But coming your way next is Hit Zone. Stand by for that one.
My people, listen to him. Oh, listen to him. My people, listen to him. Oh, listen to him. Listen to him. What's up? My name is CEO Coach Sangala, and you are watching Craft House TV, the game changer.
Ondikonda amandikonda mbali ya wanu nilikuno kunkuno ine nilikuno kunoko onditiwa amanditiwa mbali ya wanu nilikuno kunkuno ine nilikuno kunoko ompetetsa amandikonda mbali ya wanu nilikuno kunkuno ine nilikuno kunoko dinentelu ndipo sachuma
awasagula manditiwa inukure manditiwa awasagula manditiwa onditiwa ine yeso nditwa maziwiga onditiwa ine yeso nditwa maziwiga awagula mandibonda awasagula mandibonda inukure mandibonda awasagula mandibonda ondibonda ine yeso nditwa mabondeno ondibonda ine yeso nditwa mabondeno ndiri kuno kunkono ine ndiri kuno kunogo
You're watching Craft House TV, the game changer.
I'm coming live from Craft House. I'm spitting the truth, don't doubt. Spitting the good, my brother, no doubt. It's the SLE. You can do your research, brother. They know me. Pianos and keyboards, but I'm still low key. Yo, it's your boy Slessa, and you're watching Craft House TV. Peace.
That was a performance there by San B and is called Mbali. Unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the show for today. But make sure you tune in again next week for another episode of Streethouse. But until then, you've been with me, Lucie JR. Peace.